Heidi Feels Homesick by Jonna Spire. In the book Heidi by Jonna Spire, Heidi is taken by her aunt to live with her grandfather in a village in the mountains of Switzerland. She loves to roam about in the pastures with the goatherd Peter and to play with Snowflake, a little white goat. She is fond of Granny, Peter's grandmother. However, Heidi's aunt soon sends her to Frankfurt to be the companion of Clara, her Sesam's daughter. She has to take lessons from Mr. Usher, Clara's tutor. Heidi is made to feel unwelcome by the strict housekeeper Miss Rottenmeier. She finds a friend in Sebastian who works in the house. Heidi misses her home. After dinner, Heidi always sat alone in her room for some time. She had been made to realize that she could not simply run out of doors in the Frankfurt as she has done at home. So she never tried again. Miss Rottenmeier has forbidden her to talk to Sebastian. Heidi had plenty of time every day to think about how by now the snow would have melted on the mountains, of how beautiful it would be at home with the sun shining on the grass on the flowery slopes and over the valley below. She felt so homesick she could hardly bear it. Then she remembered that her aunt had said that she could go back if she wanted to. So one afternoon she wrapped up the rolls in her big red scarf, put on her old straw hat, and went downstairs. She had got only as far as the front door when she ran straight into Miss Rottenmeier, who was returning from an outing. That forbidden person stared at Heidi in amazement, and her sharp eyes came to rest on the red bundle. "And what does this mean?" she demanded. "Why are you dressed up like that? Haven't I forbidden you to run about the streets alone or to go out without permission?" "I wasn't going to run about," murmured Heidi, a little frightened. "I only wanted to go home to see grandfather and granny." "What's that? You want to go home?" Miss Rottenmeier threw up her hands in horror. "You'd simply run off like that. What would Mr. Sesame say? I can only hope he will never hear of it. Pray, what's wrong with this house? Have you ever lived in such a fine place before, or had such a soft bed to sleep in, or eaten such good food? Answer me that." "No," said Heidi. "Here you have everything you can want. You're an ungrateful little girl who doesn't know when she is well off." This was too much for Heidi, and she burst out. "I want to go home because while I'm here, Snowflake will be crying and Granny will be missing me too. And here I can't see the sun saying good night to the mountains. How the eagle would screech if he saw all the people here in Frankfurt." "Merciful heavens, the child's out of her mind!" exclaimed Miss Rottenmeier, and ran swiftly outstairs, bumping violently into Sebastian, who was going down. "Bring that wretched child up here at once," she ordered. "Very well," said Sebastian. Heidi hadn't moved. She was trembling all over and her eyes were blazing. "Well, what have you done this time?" asked Sebastian cheerfully. Still she didn't stir, so he patted her shoulder. He added sympathetically, "Come now, don't take it so much to heart. Keep smiling. That's the best thing to do. Come along, we have got to go an about turn and go upstairs again." She said so. Heidi went up slowly with him. "Cheer up," he said. "Don't be downhearted. I have never seen you cry yet, and I know you're a sensible little girl." At supper, Miss Rottenmeier hardly spoke, but every now and then she glanced sharply at Heidi as though she was expecting her to do something unheard of at any moment. But the little girl sat as quiet as a mouse, eating and drinking nothing, though she managed to put her roll in her pocket as usual. Next morning, when Mr. Usher arrived, Miss Rottenmeier mysteriously beckoned him into the dining room and told him she feared that the change of air and the new way of life, with all its unusual experiences, had affected Heidi's mind. She told him how the child had tried to run away and repeated the extraordinary thing she had said. Thank you all.